where no one party achieved an outright electoral majority. In evaluating the choices at our disposal that will enable us to remain in power and enhance the national democratic revolution despite the setback, we opted to form a government of national unity. And somebody will ask, why a government of national unity? A government of national unity is a tactical intervention which enables us to regroup, get to our senses, go to a drawing board, regroup in a big way to recapture power. But as we do so, we don't do from a weaker position. We do from a position as the largest dominant political party in South Africa. There are people who think we romanticize, we love GNU. GNUs in definition and coalitions are formed by rival political parties who necessarily do not share the same ideological clarity and understanding. They come together. And in South Africa, the ANC decided on GNU to address people's interest, for the interest of the people of South Africa. To say, all of us, let's form a government of national unity. But government of national unity is not a melting pot. So what it means is that an opposition does not cease to be an opposition because it's in the GNU. It doesn't. ANC does not cease to be what it is because it's in the GNU. For the ANC in the GNU, having suffered a significant setback, is to secure political power and ensure that the national democratic revolution advances. It doesn't stop. And what is that advance? That advance is the Bella Bill. That advance is the NHI. That is the advance in the GNU. So there is no turning back, there is no retreat. Even when our partners disagree with the implementation of Bella Bill because they are part of the GNU, it does not mean the ANC will back down. We will not back down. The president will sign one bill after the other. And our opponents will use many other avenues within the framework of what has been ushered in the last election to try and stop and reverse our gains. That is why losing a majority outright, it's a danger to the national democratic revolution. It's a danger, and that must be avoided at all costs. We did not struggle for GNU and coalitions. We struggled for outright majority to advance without hindrances. We don't love GNU. We don't romanticize it. It is a tactical option. We had many, up to 5. We chose GNU for the right reasons. Others wanted to lock us into a corner and outbox us without options. We said, no, let's get to the GNU. There are people who suffer from ideological inadequacy, who simply characterize going to the GNU as a sellout position. There's no such sellout position. Once we had lost power below 40%, below 50%, we were always in a precarious position. And therefore it meant whatever options we'll come up with will determine how faster we can move or slower in terms of the national democratic revolution. It does not mean if we lock ourselves with so and so, we will simply advance. If they want us to advance on any other issue, we are open for it. In Parliament and everywhere else. They want land, they want everything, bring it on the table. We will see where we are going. But we can't lock ourselves in a corner simply because of ideological inadequacy and on the simple understanding that we are forming a black front of black excellence, or whatever you call it. Comrades, we are all for black excellence. We are all for black excellence. We want black people who thrive, who are very much educated, who are everything in building the middle strata. We talk about that. We want black excellence. Who doesn't want black excellence? There's nobody. Sifuna abantu abamnyama baphucuke and be liberated in whatever way. Black people have been liberated in this country by the African National Congress through our policies, affirmative action, and many other policies that we have actually implemented and safeguarded. That we know that even and do not want those particular policies, but the ANC have safeguarded them. And we said we're not going to move any way further than this. We built the black administrator, the doctors, the actuaries, the scientists you see that are black and expresses black.
Was also a point in which the GNU now, we can tell you, it's a rightward shift of policy. I hear the Deputy President being optimistic today that perhaps the ANC will never be defeated in this GNU. We want to take his word together with the President, because for as long as the primary policy of the GNU is neoliberal capitalism, there's no way in which it's going to improve the lives of the people. It's going to still regurgitate on the same step until the ANC is incapacitated to respond and fully be trusted by the people of this country. It is therefore categorically clear that the GNU will sustain the status quo, and the GNU, it's a political choice, it's an ideological choice of the neoliberal group inside our movement, and it was not a collective decision. COSATU and the SACP did not agree to this. No one should impose this thing on us. We never agree to this. If we say we never agree to this, it doesn't mean that we do not say the GNU is a reality. These are two different things, but we never agree to this. The two of us, your federation and the Communist Party, never agreed to this. We are dealing with it as a reality now. Of course, we are having an alliance meeting to sort out this particular problem. It is in this regard, Comrade Chairperson, that South Africa, if we don't resolve this problem of the GNU quite soon, we will now join the international crisis of wealth capitalism, in which when the wealth capitalist system is disintegrating, we are the ones that are coming to rebuild it when it is disintegrating. Even the capitalist powers that introduced neoliberalism in the early 70s, the USA and America, they have long forgotten this thing. They are building public entities. During COVID-19, all of them relied on government, and they began to see the importance of rebuilding the capacity of the state. Here, the neoliberal addicts, they even forced government to sign pacts to borrow money from the World Bank as a political choice, not because we needed that money. I told Comrade Enoch about this thing, but he didn't care, because we needed to have gone on the books that South Africa has also borrowed money from the IMF. So it was a political choice still. So the crisis of international capitalism, that is also the crisis of bourgeois democracy, which is also in South Africa, that is capitalist democracy. It's a crisis that we must deepen, but not enter into it. This is a crisis of liberal democracy. I mean, the liberal democracy, it is the one that is attacking the people of Palestine, a genocide that is supported by weapons and everything else on a single day by the Americans. The war in Ukraine is a continuation of the same crisis of bourgeois democracy, liberal democracy today. So we have to debate this question of the failure of liberal democracy, because we thought that liberal democracy is the best option of democracy in the world.